Hi, nice to see you all. The original title of this was Can Music Save the World? But I've changed it to How Can Music Save Anything? Because it seemed a little egotistical. The subtitle is How 12 People Had an Idea. And that is how Music Declares Emergency started. Small acorns, big trees. 12 people in a room in 2019, prompted by Extinction Rebellion, putting the climate emergency on the front pages of the UK media, and collectively pondering why music, of all things, wasn't really engaged collectively with arguably the greatest challenge we faced. I mean, we have been here before. You know, we all worked in the music industry. Woody Guthrie had a machine that killed fascists. Nina Simone talked about civil rights. Public Enemy made us all fear a black planet. Rage Against the Machine raged against censorship. Live Aid, interestingly, had a mass appeal that changed people's perceptions of Africa. And yet music wasn't engaging with the climate emergency in a collective way. There were people doing it. We were all in the room because we were doing it. But there was this lack of power, this lack of consensus, this lack of ability to take all these individual brilliant things that were happening and focus them in one point to do what music does best, which was to shout very loudly to the public and get the public interested. So we thought, well, what should we do? Well, the first rule, if you're going to make a club, is to make some rules. You know, everyone has to agree to something. So we decided we would have a declaration of a climate and ecological emergency. That was kind of the thing in 2019. Everybody was doing it. Our rules were calling on governments and media institutions to tell the truth about the climate emergency. Pretty basic, really, but important because music can't save the world, but it can bring the people together to influence the people who can save the world, and that's what that covers. To act now to reduce biodiversity loss and reach net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. Again, fairly self-explanatory, but in the field we were working, in the time we were working, there wasn't really an understanding. The public were concerned, but they didn't know what to do. We wanted to give them something to focus on. To also talk about global injustice. Music is global. The climate emergency is global. We wanted global music collaboration. We had to recognize that different places had different challenges. And also to acknowledge that we were kind of guilty too. We liked flying, we liked burning diesel, we liked making things out of oil. That's what we did. We had to change ourselves. We couldn't be open to the charge of hypocrisy. So that's what we did. And we ended up getting quite a lot of support. Our first message, 1,600 people, well, 1,600 organizations signed the declaration. So we talked about the artists. We talked about the industry. And this was an added bonus, other countries noticed us. That's from Billboard in America, as I recall. So we had this burgeoning movement. And we knew that we had power. We knew that music could do something really positive in terms of helping understand the climate emergency, helping bring the public on board. What we felt we were missing, though, if we look at it in band terms, was our album title. So we did what music does best. We nicked it. The Stones borrowed from the Blues. We borrowed from the Sierra Club. We turned their no business on a dead planet into no music on a dead planet. There's a serious point here. The climate emergency is an incredibly complex thing, as we all know. Culture is very good at taking very complex problems and reducing them to very simple ideas. No music on a dead planet connected because it said to music fans, if we don't solve it, this is the end result. No records, no gigs. The thing you love will disappear. And it resonated. It resonated as a slogan. But then the real power of the creative and cultural force came to bear. We got lucky. We got Billie Eilish, one big star. She wore our slogan at the American Music Awards. And that hashtag, No Music on a Dead Planet, flew around the world. Suddenly we were getting emails from all over the world. Who are you? What are you doing? Can we set one up? Can we do this? Can we sign your declaration? This declaration that was a UK thing became a global thing, hence 6,000. It was a demonstration of the power of one artist, one creative person, one celebrity to put a message out there that resonated across the board, cut through all the arguments and said to people, you need to care about this. It worked. So we took it further. We got everybody in. We found all our friends, all our bands. We got them to wear the T-shirt, we got them to hold the banner, we went to the awards ceremonies. We kept pushing the message, we kept generating interest in this. And what we did with the slogan was we built underneath it. We invited people to talk about what they were doing. All that great work that had been going on in 2019 was now finding a proper collective voice, an umbrella in order to sit underneath and to explain to people what the music industry was doing, but also what the climate emergency was and how people could get involved. Importantly, though, we did another thing. We made sure that the industry was still on board. We had to be aware of the hypocrisy charge. For anyone here who's working with culture and who's working with creative people, you can't just rely on your celebrities. You have to do the work yourselves, because when the celebrities are challenged, they can point at their industry and go, but they're doing the work too. It's really, really important. So then we took it global. We started to build a global movement. We looked to political organisations, the European Climate Pact. We looked to other countries. That's the Chilean Music Declares Emergency logo. We looked to the European Climate Foundation. We started to find ways to work with people. We set up a German group, or the Germans set up a German group. We were involved with the European Green Deal. And we kept pushing the slogan. And the point of this is that what we proved was that music could generate genuine interest from a public level. We'd started in 2019 with a situation where the climate emergency was something everybody talked about, but nobody really understood. And over the 3 years of transition, we got to a point where we'd reached out beyond the bubble of people that cared. We'd used culture to push the agenda into new places, into new debates, into new contexts, which is what culture does really well. We'd taken that complex problem and we'd solved it. And what we're doing next is that we are building that global movement further out across the world. And we have given the slogan to everyone. If there's anybody in here that works in musical culture, use the slogan, adjust the slogan. The slogan works. Work with us to do that. What we have on our website are a set of tools that are available to absolutely everybody. If you work in music and you want to know what you can do, if you're an artist, if you're a record label, if you're a promoter, manager, go to our website. There is a Music Climate Pack there that has been built with the organisations and the networks that we have developed that will give you simple instructions on to how to start. The point I want to make to everyone in this room today is that we started with 12 people. 12 people in a room. And we are now an organisation whose slogan is seen across the world, and we are an organisation who is recognised as being an important part of the conversation in the music industry. We have respect from the industry, and we have understanding, and we have the power to encourage the industry to work. 12 people can do that. That's what I want to leave you with. And I also want to leave you with one more thought, and that is that music can seem a very ephemeral thing. Culture can seem a very ephemeral thing. We digest it, we consume it, we don't really think about its innate power. But it does have an innate power. In a world in which a lot of important events and a lot of important things we think about are contentious, in which there is no truth, music can cut through that, culture can cut through that. It can unite people across divides, it can unite people across politics. It can bring together communities, and ultimately, to solve the climate emergency, however much great work we do, what we will eventually need is communities, public support, majorities that can fire back at the systems that control the levers of power to change what we need to change to make the world a safer, greener, fairer place for everyone. So don't be daunted. Don't assume you're the only one. Find other people. Join together. Join with us. Join our networks, join with everybody, and help us save the planet. Thank you.
Just, we have some questions for you.
Sure.
And I hope that people who have some thoughts in their head still have the chance. Just write down and push button, and we'll see what you are asking for. There's one, let me start. Can I start using no theater on a dead planet?
Yes. It's not ours, we nicked it. Use it.
Okay.
The Sierra Club, to their credit, actually sent us an email saying, nice work. You know, that's what culture does, isn't it? It borrows and it steals and it reappropriates and it churns it back out. Yes, use it, absolutely.
All right. Yes is the word. Green light. Please do. What should Estonian musicians do tonight to start saving the planet?
Right, okay, well, that's a bit grandiose, isn't it? But the first thing I'd say to any musician or artist is the most powerful thing you have is your voice. You know, I've been in the industry 30 years and I've worked with artists over those 30 years. Artists have this incredible ability to take ideas and produce them in a way that the people engage with. So use your voice. That's the first thing. You know, you don't necessarily have to write a song about climate. In fact, I'd almost say don't, because most of them just don't work. Certainly direct songs, anyway. But talk to your fan base. Talk to them about why you care about this. Talk to them about why it's important, how it drives your art, your thinking, your creative process. And then beyond that, it depends what level you're at. There's 100 million things you can do, from simple things like saying, I don't want bottled water when I play a venue, to really, really complex things like touring logistics and so forth. But as I say, if you go to our website, there's a Music Climate Pact, look at the artist stuff, it will tell you the things you can do.
That's great. And we have another one coming up. What do you think about the band or festival merch, T-shirts, bags, beanies, whatever? Shall we get rid of those? No, we shouldn't get rid of those. We should make them better. As in, we should produce them in a better way. We make T-shirts. You know, I'm not going to make an apology for that. People wear T-shirts. You know, again, we work in an industry. An industry needs to make a profit. You know, you want a festival, it's got to make a profit. You want bands, they've got to make money. They have to live. But there are ways of producing merchandise that are less impactful, circular, sustainable. We just need to change the industry standard. It's as simple as that. All our T-shirts, all our merchandise, is just T-shirts, are made in a factory that's renewably powered with certified cotton that's grown with rainwater. You send them back when they're knackered, when you've finished with them, and they shred them and they put them back in and they make a new T-shirt out of them. So we can't stop making things, we just have to make them better, and that applies to all industry, really, I think. Yes, I think so too. And for example, now we know that there are bands all around the world. I guess right now, biggest of all, maybe right now touring is Coldplay, for example, and they are measuring their footprint with Imperial College, for example.
That's right. Yeah.
Do you know what will be the outcome? What they want to get out of it?
I mean, I think Coldplay are a great target for haters just because they're Coldplay.
Yeah, they're too.
But that's not fair. And Coldplay have been very honest. They said, we want to make this as sustainable as possible, but frankly, we're not going to be able to just overnight and make it perfect. In a sense, what Coldplay are doing is important because it's a roadmap for everybody else. It's also important because they're investing a lot of money into systems that will scale up and then trickle down. You know, like low impact lighting, 10 years ago it was like super expensive, and now everybody can afford it. So you need the people with the capital and the power and the organizations to commit to this stuff, because it improves the whole industry. So well done, Chris Martin and Coldplay, brilliant work.
Probably we're going to get some ideas how to be big and still tour big and to do it environmentally friendly.
The truth of the matter is you know, unless you're going to say, well, nobody's allowed to tour anymore, you have to solve this problem. And I don't think anybody wants a world in which we don't have touring bands anymore. Does anybody want a world in which the only gigs you can see are the local band that live 10 miles down the road?
Not really.
I don't think so. Absolutely not. People are like, no, God, no, they're awful. We have to find a way to make this work, and there are ways to make it work. Of course there are ways to make it work. And as we get better at it, they will get better. And you know, since we formed, the 3 years since we formed, the music industry in the UK, but globally, you know, it's particularly in Europe, but now in America and Australia, there are so many innovations. The music industry is great for people with crazy ideas that sometimes work. So it's the ideal space to hothouse all this stuff, because there are really creative, inventive people who like kind of going outside the norm and going, well, we'll try that and see what happens.
I have a quick one for the last question. What would be, or have you set yourself the final goal for music declared?
The final goal
Yes.
No climate emergency. I mean,
Simple as that.
it. You know, the day the scientists go, it's okay, we're all good, we'll go do something else. Actually, we'll probably just translate. There's so many elements to it. Climate justice is a massive part of it. And the more we engage globally, the more we become aware of musicians who can speak to that. And that's really, really important. So that I don't want to put myself out of a job. I kind of get the feeling that even if we solve the immediate problem, there will be other things that come out of it that we will continue to work on.
Thank you very much once again,
Thank you.
Luis.
Thanks very much.
Nice round of applause. Thank you.